Exactly.
All right, so now we're gonna go in and see who's in there. And
Sure, can I see some paperwork for that?
We don't need to show you paper. We're doing an inspection in your business. Okay.
I'm not looking to contract you guys in anything to do with my business going on in here. So unless you can show me some sort of paperwork saying that you have some right to come into here, if you have a warrant or if these guys have a warrant to come along with.
For inspection, you're a business, and we have the right to enter to inspect your business.
That is not my understanding of the law. Show me that. Show me that in paperwork. I'd like to see that in
You
paperwork.
can contest it. You can make a complaint.
I've already contested fines last time you came in
You're
here.
going up. Otherwise, we're gonna charge every single person coming out of that door. We're gonna wait here, so it's your choice. Whether we go.
So you're
out
gonna
to
come
make
upstairs and try and charge everybody. It's all gonna be the same thing, man.
We'll wait here.
Listen, you're trying to finagle me into letting you into here.
You trying to give us a hard time. We already told you you're not supposed to open. There is a gathering happen, and under the provincial order, you're not supposed to. Your witness
Under the Canadian Charter of Rights,
Okay,
you have
nothing to do with Charter of Rights, okay?
Sorry, say that again, but louder.
There is right now an emergency, state of emergency under the provincial order, okay? You need to understand that, okay? We're not here to disagree and agree on what you're saying. I'm not here to...
Listen, if you're here to uphold the law, that's what you're trying to do, right? Is uphold this bylaw.
Yeah, there's right now gathering.
Okay, it says right in the bylaw, within the first couple paragraphs, that none of this is to supersede the Canadian Charter of Rights. So whatever you feel like you are trying to enforce as a bylaw officer, I understand that you feel like you have a duty to uphold your responsibility or whatever comes in your job. But as part of that job,
Okay.
and upholding this bylaw further means upholding the Canadian Charter of Rights.
Okay.
Section 2 of your Canadian Charter of Rights. Do you know what Section 2 is?
I'm not here to argue about that, okay? Right now, we will need to do inspection for your business. And you decline that, right?
I am not interested in contracting you guys to help me do anything in terms of me as a human being.
Not a problem. We'll be here. Every single person coming out there, they're going to get a check.
What are you going to charge them with?
Hi everyone, it's Amina Motala. Welcome to the show, and I just want to welcome you here to a wonderful fitness studio and introducing Zachary. Zachary, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Zah.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you for having me in your gym.
Thanks for coming.
What a great space you have here. I would love for you to introduce yourself and tell everybody your gym, and then we're going to get into this great story that I saw on Facebook of you having to deal with the bylaw officers and with the COVID-19 measures that are in place here in Ottawa, Canada. So let's get into that story, but first please introduce yourself.
So my name is Zachary Boissonneau. I own this facility, A Foot Above Fitness. I'm in Orleans, Ontario, Canada. I'm on Trim Road out in the east. If you want to come find me, feel free. We do private one-on-one training. You get access to the facility if you have a trainer, but I don't sell just memberships, and that's kind of been the leg that I've been standing on in terms of keeping myself open during all of this stuff.
So Zachary, let's go back a little bit here so we can bring everyone up to speed what happened in recent times. So when did this incident take place? And we're talking about the bylaw officers. Zachary was visited by how many bylaw officers and when?
So Tuesday of last week, I believe that was the 12th or something like that, I had 3 bylaws officers as well as 3 police cruisers. I think there were probably 6 officers there in total. I had 3 bylaws officers and 4 police who were all at my front door. The police were there, they said, to support bylaw, and bylaw was there to issue me 2 court summons for June.
For June?
Yeah.
Okay, and so the police were there to support the bylaw officers.
Is what they said, yeah.
Is that a normal practice?
I'm not sure too much of the intricacies of how police work.
Right.
It's my understanding, and I've had some people reach out to me after and say that what I should have done is asked at least one of those police officers to stand as a peace officer rather than them being arbitrarily already on the bylaws side. And they were pretty, I'm going to say, complacent. Mm-hmm. As soon as bylaws were finished their conversation, police didn't stick around at all. It didn't seem like they wanted to be here any more than I wanted to be here. Right.
Well, that's good. I've been working with Norman Traversy. A lot of my followers know who that is, and we've encountered a lot of the OPP and police officers downtown during the summer months, and they've been really great with us. Actually, they worked really well with us. So. It's just to point out, when bylaw officers come to your establishment, to small business, and try to enforce these bylaws, saying that you either can't open your store, or you can't have customers come in. Just what you can say, what our lawful rights are, especially for all the entrepreneurs out there. And I really encourage entrepreneurs to learn a little bit, and this is why I wanted to bring you on to explain a little bit how, you know, the process goes, or what sort of questions they would ask you and how you responded to that. Just to give them an idea, it's important to know, like I say, our lawful rights.
Well, and so I had somebody explain it to me, and I've had a whole slew of people reach out since all of this happened. And I had somebody explain it to me that bylaws are essentially a service, a corporation that provides a service. They might issue tickets on on city streets. They have their list of jobs and duties that they have to do, the oath then being part of it, same as a police officer does. And so the explanation I was given was, imagine that rather than having their fancy uniform on and then being part of the city of Ottawa, instead think about it like they were Canadian Tire employees or employees of any other corporation that provides a service. And so if you had, say, a Canadian Tire employee show up on your doorstep and say, you're not allowed to be open, give us fines, you'd kind of laugh them off. Not to say laugh at bylaws officers, but it's the same sort of situation that they're there to provide a service. And so same as I might go into Canadian Tire and say, no, you know what, I don't want you to do an alignment on my tires while I get those switched. It was the same kind of thing that I told bylaws, I'm just not interested in any of their services. I wasn't looking to contract them to do anything in here. And that's really how it was. There was nothing that they were offering for my business that I was interested in taking part of. I stated that. The police didn't have a warrant, they didn't have a warrant, so it's my understanding that they have no grounds to come in. In terms of like information that way though, like let's be clear, I'm no lawyer by any means, but there have been a couple good places. There's a thing called iwillopen.com, Rebel News has put that up, and they're offering to help pay for legal fees to fight any of these fines. And then there's another website, weareallessential.ca, and same thing, they've got a little bit of legal understanding for business owners and some information that way. So I definitely haven't come up with all this stuff on my own. I've had a lot of people help me out.
Yeah, which is great, and that's what we want to see, is a community coming more together and helping each other to understand better what our rights are, what we can do, what we're not supposed to do. We don't want to break any laws. We want to be law-abiding individuals and persons, and you know, and not cause any problems. We want peace, right?
Yeah.
And you've been very peaceful. That's what I really liked about how your procedure and which the way you communicated with the bylaw officers. Really, I mean, why not be peaceful? What other way would there be than peaceful? So.
Well, that's kind of how I feel too. Is that like you can't. As soon as you become violent, then you have no argument to be made anymore. Like all your credibility goes out the window, and that's all it takes is one instance of something going wrong. It's like a doctor, you know. All it takes is you killing one patient, and your whole practice is over. And so if you lose your cool, it might only just be once, but like that can still be enough that then you lose all credibility.
In a situation like this, for sure.
Yeah,
of course.
Exactly.
Exactly. And you know, you said a really key word, and I like to emphasize on that, is you don't have a contract with them. And that's because what a lot of people are starting to learn is that Canada is not a country, it is a corporation. And under this corporation, we are basically a product in that civil process of that corporation. So being that product, but what you're doing is you're exercising your lawful right as a person, your natural right, your natural born right. And so therefore, when you say, I don't have a contract, you're removing yourself from that civil process, from that corporation, and you're saying, I don't have a contract with you, me as a person, not my birth certificate number. And a lot of people have been hearing a lot about this birth certificate number, and that's what that birth certificate number actually means. It is part of that product of that corporation.
Oh, exactly.
And you're just identifying the two, right?
Right, and like this, I'm still brushing up on common law. It wasn't even on my radar until months ago, and it's like a crash course in an alien language.
Many of us.
Yeah, exactly. But I've also had some legal lawyers kind of thing who've also been talking to that, like, there's kind of two sides to this. Yes, like man and woman and how the common law and that stuff applies to them. But similarly too, like I have a business license. There is a corporation that for the most part owns all this stuff in here, and
That's
so
part of that civil process.
right, exactly. And so there's more than one side to this whole
Yeah.
thing, but at least you can call it that way too. Is that my corporation had no urge to make a contract with these bylaws neither, and
Correct.
if nothing else, like I'm
So
trying-
businesses can open.
yeah.
Businesses can stay open.
Well, it's essential for me to put food on my table,
Exactly.
and you have a right to your own subsistence in Canada.
Right.
Yeah.
And so customers can come into your business.
Of course.
Of course they can. If they choose to wear a mask, that's absolutely what, if that's what they want to do, and
Yeah.
take those precautions for COVID, or like any flu for that matter that could be out there.
Yeah.
If that's your way, then that's.
If you want to wear purple pants, you can wear purple pants. If you want to
Exactly.
wear a mask.
Right.
Whatever.
Sure, it's not
Yeah.
about not wearing a mask or
Yeah.
wearing a mask. So just to encourage all of you out there, because we're all shut down here in Ontario, and this second lockdown is pretty devastating, or can be very devastating in months to come if we continue this way. And I know I've talked to a few entrepreneurs in the local area that are, it's starting to become very stressful for them, and what they're seeing forward. And I can't even imagine that's to not have customers come through here and pay your lights and pay your bills, right?
Well, and that's kind of been one of the weird things too, is that a lot of the business owners that I've talked to, they're like, well, once we get back to business, even if we were to say, okay, now you're legally allowed to open your businesses again, that doesn't mean that there are going to be people ready to kick down your door to start giving you their money. And so to keep whatever business momentum that you can keep is going to be something that's really important. So yes, I'm certainly not running at 100% capacity. Yes, we have had some members who don't feel comfortable coming back here. I've had a lot of people who've reached out because I'm standing up as well. Mm-hmm. There's been a shift in that demographic of who's coming in here, but if you let that momentum die, it is so hard to get it back. It's the same as starting a business from day one. There have been a lot of parts of this lockdown that has felt a lot like when I first opened my business, which was really 2.5 years ago or so. So I had just gone through a lot of the same feelings that I'm going through now, and I think it's even more crucial for business owners that if you want to care about that thing that you care so deeply about, that you still need to put nose to grindstone here, and just to sit back and take tax money that's handed out as checks, that money's all going to be owed back sooner or later. We're digging ourselves a hole,
Yeah.
and we need to take a stand. Enough's enough. I know in Italy, I think it's 50,000 businesses just opened up. It's
about survival at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's absolutely about survival, and we are our community is where we all live. It is so important for each and every one of us to understand and hear this. And to go to Walmart and Costco and Canadian Tire and Home Depot and all these big box stores, it's keeping the money in the globals, elites' pockets. But we are living amongst each other. And I'd like to say this, we have more in common with each other than we do these global elites.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
why not we take care of each other and ourselves and start, thinking for ourselves in that sense.
One, I saw a good meme floating around too, in that it's all the small businesses that when your kid's sports team looks for a sponsor, those are the people who will cough up money and support your team and get t-shirts made and yada yada yada. Costco doesn't then sponsor small sports teams.
No.
They're not going to come over if it's snowy out and help shovel your driveway. And I think a lot of that tribal feeling of human beings have kind of started to disappear. I mean, it's outsource everything, and why can't we all have each other's backs rather than trying to pretend that, like you said, these global elites in some way have our
Well,
back.
we have a lot of power amongst ourselves, each individual.
Strength in numbers.
And just yourself, it's such a powerful thing that you're doing for yourself and your business. And if we each and every one of us did that in our community, it's a powerful thing. And all we have to do really is open the doors and just start business.
Right.
It really,
and understand your rights. It doesn't no, I'm not
Sure.
a lawyer, but it's really not that hard to grasp at least the basics of it.
Yeah.
So as long as you some passing level of the language, you don't need to be super proficient in whatever given language. You can have okay French and make it around in Montreal okay. You don't need to know it perfectly.
Exactly.
Same kind of thing. You can have an okay understanding of how law works and still have a pretty good leg to stand on.
We make it work, don't we? We make it work. And what did I wanted? I wanted to say that I went to a store yesterday on Rideau Street. It was a shoe store.
Yeah.
And because I'm heading out to a ski area where it's open. I don't want to mention right now where, but it's, you know, when I went to get some shoes, some boots for this trip of mine, and I walked in, the door was open. She said, no, we're closed. You can't come in here. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. Okay. So I said, she said, all the stores are closed. And I said, oh, okay, I understand. And she says, you know, I can't open. And I said, well, you're complying. You know, you are just complying to a bylaw. It's not a law. And she said, well, I get a fine. I'll get a fine of $6,000. And I said, well, you don't have to pay that fine. Yeah. So can you explain a little bit about that? Like you were given tickets, right?
So I was given fines back in October because I had the bylaws show up when we were in modified phase 2, and I stayed open during that, and that's a whole story in itself. I was given fines with that. And same as like a traffic camera ticket or a red light ticket or something in like a minor court, you can contest these things. And so that's exactly what I plan to do. And you don't owe a dime on them until you've had your court date. And so, yes, I have what I believe is a pretty good leg to stand on in terms of the last set of fines that I got. And same as these fines coming around now. I've even heard stories out in Alberta that some of these haven't even been filed. People are showing up for their court dates and they just have no record of them. And so I think that there's a lot of questions surrounding, like, certainly the legality of any of these tickets and fines and all that stuff, but just the processes of all of it. I've had a lawyer who's told me that, like, we don't know how due process is going to roll out. In Canada, you have the right to closure of whatever that incidence is within 18 months of you getting charged. And so what happens when that clock times out on all of these tickets that are backed up in the system? And so there's a whole lot of questions that we'll eventually find answers whatever months down the road, but like, my business needs to stay open now. Like, I'm gonna worry about those problems then, and I gotta worry about these problems now. Yeah. On top of being in a weird position in that, like, owning a gym, I have a lot of my clients who, like, this is mental health. This is their place to get some energy out. And I'm sure I would feel probably in some way different if I owned any other type of business, but this is a weird rock and a hard place. And so no, like, I'm going to take care of the people I take care of, and we'll worry about court dates in June.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And it is mental health for a lot of people, you know, to come out and exercise. And it's so important, actually. It is essential.
Well, and that's it. Like, the argument is, well, you can go do exercise outside or you can do it in your house kind of thing. Nobody does exercise in their house, or a very small percentage of it. But there's a difference to seeing the same faces when you come into the gym, and those small conversations in between sets. Hey, how you doing? What have you been up to? That's good. That's good for just your mental well-being. On top of all those conversations are also a really good time to be like, hey, you think this is all crazy too, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that there needs to be more value put in that community of either being in a gym or whatever your community is, and this, like, stay home, save life thing. It's taking a toll on people's mental health, and suicide rates are through the roof. Alcohol, substance abuse, overdose, all of that stuff is just skyrocketing. And like, when are we going to flatten those curves? I've been in fitness for about 15 years myself. I've been helping people in fitness for almost 10 years now. I've been fighting comorbidities for a decade, and I'm confident that I make people healthy and I don't put people in hospitals. And so yeah, I think I'm essential. I think I should be deemed essential, and I frankly, I want to have that talk with anybody who'll hear me. Nice.
Well, I hope you heard him. So this is the whole point of this. No, I appreciate it. And thank you for having me come in here and have this discussion. I think it's very important. It's very crucial. We are in some very unprecedented times. We have been all year in 2020. And now it's really getting into the crunch of this pandemic.
We're coming up to a year anniversary of 14 weeks to flatten the curve, or 14 days to flatten the curve. Yeah. Like, there's so much of this has made less and less sense. I locked down in March when this all started. Like, I genuinely thought, okay, I'm like, oh my God, this is the virus. Like, woo. Right. And then you start reading, and you can at least have a conversation one-on-one with people now that you're like, whether or not you believe in this virus or wherever you are on masks and mandates and blah, 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 you can at least admit that there's something fishy going on.
Just slightly.
Exactly. Wherever you fall on that spectrum, so be it.
Yeah.
But you can at least get, I'm going to say, a sweeping majority of people to be like, yeah, there's some government overreach, or yeah, something's a little bit off. And like, those should be red flags. And I've had a lot of people who told me like, well, you just follow the rules. All those people who fought and died for our freedoms, and now you don't even listen to what you're being told. That's just, it's spitting in their face. And it couldn't be more the opposite.
Exactly.
Is that like, if you have anything at the right, is to stand up for what you believe in.
Nice. And you know, the information that I get and I research and that I've read and learned over the years, and I've been doing this for many, many years, is the same information you can reach and find. So why is it that I'm seeing it differently than you're seeing it differently? So, you know, keep looking, keep hearing perspectives. I think it's really, really important.
Oh, don't prescribe to just one person.
Exactly.
Don't ever take my word completely as like the be all and end all. I don't think that we should take the word of all these experts as the be all and end all.
I always say trust yourself, right?
Well, that's it. And get your information from a bunch of different places, and to rely solely on one is being blind.
Yeah, it is. So it's important, people. Get out there, learn more, you know, talk to people in your community, get different perspectives, express your opinions in a very kind way. Let's not divide. Let it not divide us.
No.
Really important. Who cares if you love Biden and Trump and this and that and the other?
Sure.
Who cares? We are more in common with each other.
Yeah.
We are people together.
Yeah.
And we need to stand up for ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know, we have a chance. We have this is actually an opportunity for us to actually do that, probably for the first time ever. So it's here.
Yeah. We need to stop fighting each other so we can deal with the real problem. And the more that we pick red or blue or whatever you want to call it, then the less that we're worried about, like you said, this global takeover of things, this shift to cryptocurrency, if you want to get into that talk. And
please.
Yeah.
I'm into that, so don't worry.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't knock it.
No, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying that stuff's coming. And the more that we are focused on trying to bicker about
cryptocurrencies, these are just tools and technology.
Yeah.
But in any of this stuff, that's what I'm trying to say is we actually have a window for us to step
take
forward
advantage of it. Of course.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
there is a golden opportunity in our hands right
is.
now. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, it's powerful. Yeah, so thanks again. I really appreciate it. And give me a tour of your gym, will you?
Yeah, of course. I'll show you around.
Okay, awesome. Take care, guys. Thanks for joining the show, and stay tuned. I'm going to add that clip, too, of you with the bylaw officers. I'll add it to this. And,
go for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's going on over there?
Exercise.
Nice.
I'm not sure.
Hear that. Okay. Love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too. How's it going?
I'm Lydia from Bylaw Services.
Zachary Boisson, I'm the owner here.
Perfect.
There's Officer Khalid with the City of Ottawa Bylaw Services.
Perfect.
I'm Constable Walker with the Ottawa Police Service. We're here to support Bylaw in this case.
Sure.
I'm Constable Mackey with the Ottawa Police Service here to support this bylaw.
Awesome.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad yourself. Your name and who you are?
Don't worry, Ottawa Bylaw.
Perfect, thank you.
So we're here for inspection. We need to go upstairs.
I have a summons issued here as well. So.
Can I see that, please?
Yeah, only see your
We're gonna
ID as
see.
well. Then we're also doing an inspection.
I'll give you them upstairs.
Yeah, let me see some paperwork first. And so who's, I say, executing this? I have a package of information because I believe all of you have taken some sort of oath prior to having a badge or doing anything, correct? All right, like everybody's taken an oath here?
Well, I'm a provincial offences officer.
Yeah.
So
But when you get into your position, you take an oath, correct?
Sorry,
Well, you guys have all taken an oath before your badge, correct?
What's the question that you have in particular, sir? Because outside of the oath, that doesn't have anything to do with the infraction right now, correct?
No. I'm just curious.
Outside of your being curious about that, that doesn't have anything to do with what bylaw is here to investigate, correct?
Well, no, but my point future to that is that part of that oath is to hold the Constitution, right? You guys here are the Canadian Charter of Rights trumps all and everything. Are we in disagreement there?
So, like I said, sir, they're here to investigate under
Sure.
their authority.
Okay.
All right? So when you ask what they're here for, you're going to be talking to bylaw, all right?
Okay.
Outside of the oath, all right, you're asking them why they're here. They're going to be explaining that to you, correct?
Okay. But you guys are all under here, under oath,
So we're
sorry.
here
They're here
to
because
assist
we
them.
requested.
Yes, no, but I mean, like, to have your badge, right? Like, to be a police officer, you have to take an oath to get your badge, correct?
So, sir, again, what does that have to do with the current situation?
Because the later point to this is that part of that oath is saying that you will stand for the Constitution and the Canadian Charter of Rights.
Okay, so in this case, we're supporting
Okay,
these people who have authority
Okay.
to investigate, right?
perfect. So then you agree you've taken an oath.
So again, sir, what does that have to do with the conflict here that you have with them?
Because under Section 7 and Section 2 of the Canadian Charter of Rights, Section 2 says that you have a right to an association. That's why a whole bunch of people can wear white pointy hats and go burn a flag. As long as you're not going to be offensive or you're not going to try and hurt anybody, there is no limit to that. So stuff like saying you can only be with 10 people at a time is against our Canadian Charter of Rights, a thing that you've taken an oath against.
So right now, sir, I'm going to interrupt you and just say this. At this point, they're going to be the ones who are determining whether they have authority to search your business. That's
Okay.
their authority.
Okay.
We're assisting them to make sure that everything is basically kept as peaceful. Okay?
Okay.
If you have any concerns with it, if they have the authorization to go in, the proper forum for you to contest that would be in court.
I've already contested stuff in court. Yeah,
and that's
I've already tried.
understandable, But
Yeah.
the judges will be the ones to determine if there's any conflict or they disagree with it. But if
And
they've been
so-
given authorization, they're going to enact that.
Okay, but
You
courts
understand
are
that, right?
closed. Yeah, I understand what you're saying to me. I say that you're here supporting them, and they are, I'm going to say, the leading head on this. Sure, that makes sense to me.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that you guys, police officers, I'm going to say those who should be standing for the law,
Okay.
have understood that you guys have taken an oath to
But
the
you
Canadian
understand
Charter
that,
of
sir,
Rights.
that if they've been given authority to go up and investigate, and we're assisting them in that, then we're upholding the law because they have authority to do an investigation, correct?
But what if that law is counter to the Canadian Charter of Rights?
Then what did I just tell you? It's basically the courts would determine whether it's counter or not, right?
Okay.
So at this point,
And the courts are
when
closed
you-
right now, no?
So, as I said, sir, if you have any contest to it, the courts would be the forum for that. If
Okay.
they have authorization, they're able to act on that authorization.
Okay.
right? To ensure that it's a peaceful transition for how it acts, that's all that we're looking to do.
Okay, so you're just here to
So-
prevent violence, is it?
So
Yes,
we will be
yes.
assisting them. Okay. So
Okay.
So ID.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
So here are your two summons. One's today, one's from yesterday. And your court date is June 18th.
Okay.
Constellation, 100 Constellation. Well, you'll get this.
Yeah.
9 a.m.
Okay,
That's for you.
perfect.
And here's my provincial offensive officer card. I think you wanted to see that.
Yeah, that's perfect. Exactly.
All right. So now we're gonna go in and see who's in there. And do-
Sure. Can I see some paperwork for that?
We don't need to show your paper. We're doing an inspection of your business. Okay.
I'm not looking to contract you guys in anything to do with my business going on in here. So unless you can show me some sort of paperwork saying that you have some right to come into here, if you have a warrant or if these guys have a warrant to come
We don't
along
need
with,
for inspection. You're a business, and we have the right to enter to inspect your business.
that is not my understanding of the law. Show me that. Show me that in paperwork. I'd like to see that in paper.
You can contest it. You can make a complaint.
I've already contested fines last time you came in
We're going
here.
up. Otherwise, we're gonna charge every single person coming out of that door. We're gonna wait here. So it's your choice. Whether we go
So you're
out
going to
make
come
everything-
upstairs and try and charge everybody. It's all going to be the same thing, man.
We'll wait here
Listen,
then.
you're trying to finagle me into letting
No,
you
we're
into
not.
here.
You try to give us a hard time. We already told you you're not supposed to open. There is a gathering happen, and under the provincial order, you're not supposed to. Your business
Under the
active-
Canadian Charter of Rights,
Okay, has
you have
nothing to do with the Charter of Right, okay?
Sorry, say that
There
again,
is-
but louder.
There is right now an emergency, state of emergency under the provincial order, okay? You need to understand that, okay? We're
Okay.
not here to disagree and agree on what you're saying. I'm not here to
Listen, if you're here to uphold the law, that's what you're trying to do, right? Is uphold this bylaw?
Yeah, there's right now gathering.
Okay, it says right in the bylaw within the first couple paragraphs that none of this is to supersede the Canadian Charter of Rights.
Okay.
So whatever you feel like you are trying to enforce
Okay.
as a bylaw officer, I understand that you feel like you have a duty to uphold your responsibility or
Yeah.
whatever comes in your job. But as part of that job,
Okay.
and upholding this bylaw further means upholding the Canadian Charter of Rights.
Okay.
Section 2 of your Canadian Charter of Rights. Do you know what Section 2 is?
I'm not here to argue about that, okay? Right now, you need to do inspection for your business. And you declined that, right?
I am not interested in contracting you guys to help me do anything in terms of me as a human being.
Not a problem. We'll be here. Every single person coming up door, they're going to get a phone.
What are you going to charge them with?
Gathering. They're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Do they live here?
You know what? Here.
Okay. Do they live here? The people up right now, do they live at your business right now, or do they work for you? No, they don't.
Here. If you'd like to read.
I'm not going to read nothing.
Shit, man. You make it easy for me.
Yeah?
No, I'm not looking to contract you guys doing anything. I'm not interested in your service. Thank you very much.
We'll be here. We're not going nowhere.
Okay.
Fair enough. No, that's fine. All right. What's sorry, I don't need
Yeah, sorry.
Bird on the tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time.
All right, Zachary, you're going to give me a tour. Let's take me around.
Let's start on this side then.
Okay.
I've got a bunch of tatami mats, Olympic rings, a climbing rope, a punching bag, all kinds of stuff that you can get really like physical on if you want. Squat racks off to your left, leg press, hack squat. We have a deadlift platform. Keep going. We've got all manners of cardio equipment. No 6 treadmills, but one of all the fun stuff. Cable machines like you used to in any other gym, and then a few of the like smaller machines. Body fat tester in the back too, and then we've got a whole lot more stuff in the back.
All right.
Stuff in here.
Sometimes I need to go.
So yeah, that's my gym. Change room, showers, all that good stuff too. But yeah, this is all the good stuff.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Norman, you going to sign up?
Sure.
Yeah?
I don't think they got heavy enough weights for me though.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Get something better.
Thanks, Zachary.
Thank you.